We live?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Would like to call to order the January 9th regular monthly meeting of the Spalding County Board of Elections and Registration. Happy New Year, everybody. Got a big crowd tonight. Good seeing everybody. If everybody would please silence your cell phones and all other electronic devices, and please stand for the invocation by James O'Brien and the pledge by Dexter. Just in time.
Let us pray. Lord Jesus, you once said, I come not to be served, but to serve. And so it is, we thank you for this past year and all that we were able to accomplish. But we look forward to the new year, that we may serve your people faithfully, all your people. So Lord, give us the gifts and talents necessary. Be with us, guide us, give us light in darkness. We pray this in your name, for you are the Lord, now and forever. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Next up, we have citizen comment. We don't have anybody signed up. Do we need to, don't need to just not read it, okay? Next up, adoption of the agenda. A motion would be in order to amend the agenda to strike from, excuse me, to, wait a minute, so Stephanie, we're striking that, right?
Yeah.
To remove old business A, and under new business to remove B and replace it with adopt resolution for delegation of authority in 2024. Do we have a motion to amend the agenda as stated?
I so move. I
James?
move that we remove A from old business and remove B from new business and replace B with
Adopt resolution for delegation of authority in 2024.
adopt resolution for delegation of authority in 2024.
Do we have a second? Roy, I think, was up first. Okay. Do we have any further amendments, additions? Okay. Hearing none. All in favor of adopting the agenda as amended? Carries 5-0. We have an agenda. Next up is approval of minutes. All we have to work with this month is October 10th is in there. December 5th is still pending. So if y'all want to review, and the motion would be in order to either amend or approve the minutes.
Make a motion the minutes be approved as written.
Okay.
My second.
Second, Dexter. Sam was up first. All in favor of approving the minutes? 5-0 carries. Next up, report of election supervisor. Kim, you're on deck, ma'am.
Alrighty. If you all turn to your the general tab, that's where you'll see my report. Going to start the new year a little bit different.
All right.
So first of all, I'm going to share with you briefly the report submitted by voter registration coordinator Sandra Hardy. And if you have any questions throughout, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm not going to read every single line, but registered voters as of January 9th, 2024 were 51,662. Voter registration action between December the 1st through December the 30th, 2023. DDS voter transactions totals 1,166, and below that, you can see the breakdown, okay, as of 364 transfers, new voters, within county address changes, name changes, and no change at all. That's what you'll hear sometimes us refer to as duplicate, not a duplicate voter, but duplicate voter information coming in from DDS where they went in and updated their license and it came through to us again. They're already registered and there's no information changed, okay? Deceased voters, 35. Mail-in, walk-in transfers, 7 transfers and 7 with no changes. Online voter registration, 15. Through the My Voter page app, 23, and felons, 7. Any questions on that? Precinct cards. We shared during a Q&A session in a January webinar with the Secretary of State's office that we have not received any precinct cards from the Secretary of State's office on any new or updated voter registration records since August, and I apologize for that, but since August of last year. So I want you to understand, and that was when they went back and pulled what they believe had been left out due to the Jarvis updates. So we sent out a bulk mailing at that time, but it was not all of them. So we have not mailed any out since that period of time. We inquired of this during a Q&A with the Secretary of State's office, and we are awaiting an answer from them. List maintenance, national change of address. I'll just let you know that there have been several confirmation processes throughout 2023 and even into early 2024. So just to break that down for you, national change of address, our office has received 755 within county address changes from the Secretary of State's office. We were instructed to update our voters' addresses to reflect the changes the voters submitted to the USPS. We then mailed out the 755 confirmation notices. To date, our office has received 111 returned within county NCOAs. That's the no change of address confirmations with a forwarding address, yellow sticker there by the Postal Service, that we then confirmed through Jarvis to be the voter's current Spalding County address. DDS confirmation notices. The Secretary of State's office is working with the Department of Driver's Services, and I believe this is through Eric, to identify voters who have canceled their driver's license to get a license in another state. Notices were mailed on Friday, December the 8th, 2023. We are given records on this list until July 2024 to respond to avoid any question of compliance with the systematic list maintenance blackout period required by NVRA. That's the National Voters Registration Act. Our office received a list of 245 voters, and 39 of those have been returned as undeliverable. Reporting election systems, as we referred to you before, to the term REEF, a REEF ticket. That's when we submit REEF tickets to the Secretary of State's office in regards to the Jarvis system, which is the new voter registration election system. We have reported 2 REEF tickets. The first being previous absentee ballot applications remaining on the tile after processing, and the second was a voter who was, quote, stuck on the potential duplicate tile after processing. The state has answered these REEF tickets, and these issues were resolved. Jarvis, the last Jarvis update was January the 8th, 2024. They did a major update this past weekend. Just understand that Jarvis is still evolving as we speak, okay? So the primary focus through this update is what was shared with us was the absentee ballot work tile and the redistricting module in preparation for the upcoming March 12th election and upcoming redistricting projects as well. MOC and MOS reports. We have an update from this. It says our office has not received any MOC and MOS reports since August 2023. That's actually correct, but we just found out, I believe yesterday, Sandy, or through some communication through the buzz, someone in another county found out how to to obtain the report through Jarvis and shared it with other counties. This information wasn't shared to us. We didn't know. But there were a lot of people, a lot of counties that were really glad to receive this information so we could begin printing this information as far as moved out of county voters and moved out of state voters. Duplicate voter report. Our office received a duplicate voter report from the Secretary of State's office containing 30 duplicate voters, many which were previously registered in other counties, while others were name changes or lacked driver license number. So just letting you know, this is something that the state generated themselves. I believe they used Eric with this as well, I'm pretty sure. And it was mainly looking at where, when we look at our voter registration list, we're looking at Spalding County. They were able to look at Spalding County, or look at all states and look for duplicates. And so that's what this report consisted of. So they sent that to us and we processed it. Okay, that concludes the voter registration report. I'm going to move forward with the general election supervisor report. State Election Board meeting, County Attorney Stephanie Wyndham attended the State Election Board meeting on December the 19th, 2024. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend due to illness. Both of the cases were dismissed. County Attorney Stephanie Wyndham did write to the State Election Board Chairman Mashburn to remind him of what was decided at a previous SEB meeting in regards to the fraudulent ballot case, which was the following. Our office was to provide a number list of voters for the 2 days involved with the voting when the fraudulent ballot was cast, which we did so. Reminder, this was found in October of 2022, just to refresh everyone's memory. And the Secretary of State's office, they were asked at that point in time when the case was heard to return back with, because the state investigator had brought forth that if you press certain buttons certain amount of times on the printer, that it could print a notebook image, okay? So at that time, the State Election Board asked the state to come back with guidelines to implement that so that this would not happen in the future. So we do not have that. We have not received that information, nor was it provided at the State Election Board meeting on December the 19th. Board member oath. The Office of Elections and Voter Registration received a letter of nomination of Dexter Wimbish as their appointee for the term of January 2024 through December 31st, 2027. Mr. Wimbish was sworn in today by Probate Judge Jan Hunt. In attendance as witness from the Office of Elections and Voter Registration were board members James Newland, Jim O'Brien, and myself. Precinct update. I sent out some information to you all via email. We have moved forward in the consolidating of Precinct 17. Just to refresh everyone's memory here, the county, Spalding County, received grant funds to refurbish Ambucks Park in itself, along with Volunteer Park. Okay, so we had to do something about the election year 2024 because there was no promise in that it would be available, and we couldn't work in a gray area. So after looking at this and reviewing it, I came to the conclusion and that to serve our voters best in Spalding County in that area, for us to combine Precinct 17 and Precinct 9, and that way the distance that, I think the most distance, the best way to say this, that a voter would have to go further is 5 miles to vote, to reach their polling precinct. Precinct 9, if you look at the map, is right at the edge of Precinct 9. And so if you look at 17 and 9 together, it's right in the middle. Plenty of room, ample space here at Union Baptist Church. It allows room for growth, as well as can accommodate both of these precincts as well right now. To give you an idea, Precinct 17 right now is at 2,250 voters. Precinct 9 is at 2,114 voters, which is a total of 4,365. We have precincts that are larger than that. We have Precinct 16 and, of course, 21. Precinct 16 is working great. Of course, we're always looking for ways to improve, though. So any questions on that? But we are submitted in the process. I'm in the process now of composing the letters to the Secretary of State's office, but we pretty much just informed them. The ad ran in today's paper, If you want to flip over just a few pages, you will see the notice that ran today, notice of polling precinct consolidation and relocation. And I have notified Kelly Carmichael, Leisure Services with Leisure Services, and of course TJ Emberger, Public Works, who assist us with the deployment and of course reserving this space, that we will not be utilizing Ambuck's Park Gym, which we can't, for 2024, and going further unless the board decides differently. Okay? Upcoming information for March 12th, 2024, presidential preference primary. Ballot building and proofing are just about complete for this election. We are working now in Jarvis to rename Precinct 17 Precinct 9 so that all paper ballots will reflect up-to-date precincts. All other ballot proofing is completed. In other words, we've been through the ballot, we've looked at it, read it, I think about a total of 4 to 5 times, frontwards and backwards. And everything looks good. Of course, we'll proof again once the ballot proofing package comes back to us, which will exclude Precinct 17, but will be covered in Precinct 9 with its combos. A reminder to the board and to the public that this is a presidential preference primary, where the voter has the opportunity to choose a party ballot and select the candidate of the party they wish to appear on the November general ballot for president of that party. There are 11 choices on the Republican ballot and the Democratic ballot, and 3 choices on the Democratic ballot. And they are as follows. So Republican Party candidates, presidential preference candidates, are Ryan L. Binkley, Doug Burgum, Chris Christie, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Asa Hutchinson, Perry Johnson, Vivek Ramaswamy, Tim Scott, David Stuckenberg, and Donald J. Trump. Democratic Party candidates are Joseph R. Biden Jr., Dean Phillips, and Marianne Williamson. As soon as we are finished with the proofing of the ballot project, we'll have a sample ballot out to the public, just as soon as we can. So some qualifying going forward, some qualifying information for you. Local qualifying for the following positions will be held on March the 4th through 8th. If you want to glance to the second page, Perry Cron has put together there for us the list of upcoming positions that are going to be on the ballot. This does not include state or federal. This is just our local candidates who will be qualifying at our local office. Okay? I will be reaching out to the local parties this week to see if each party is planning to conduct their own qualifying. They do have that choice whether they want to do that or not, or if they are desiring for the election supervisor to conduct the qualifying. The Board of Commissioners voted last night at last night's meeting for the setting of the qualifying fees, and I'm waiting to receive a list of the fees from Kathy Gibson.
I did provide that.
Okay.
From the agenda packet. It's not the signed version, but it does have the exhibit with all the fees on it.
Okay, great. So we'll use that information. Of course, the board, the BOC, the Board of Commissioners, they have to actually post notice of the election, but we will use this information in the qualifying information that we post and make available to the public as well. Advanced voting. Advanced voting for the March 12th, 2024 presidential preference primary will be held at the Hall of Fame located at 841 Memorial Drive, Griffin, Georgia, until further notification. The dates and times are as follows. February the 19th through February the 24th, that's a Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. February 26th through March the 2nd, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And March the 4th through March the 8th, that is a Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Redistricting. We literally received our maps today. If any of you would like to see it today before leaving, you're welcome to. That's the House district maps. This redistricting project, what the judge ruled on for them to go back, for the legislators to go back and look at, affected only the state House district lines for Spalding County. So Spalding County House districts or what we will be working with. We are contracting with Brian Haynes. You all may remember him from before. He has worked with the Office of Elections and Voter Registration prior to my arrival, and of course the last time in 2022 when we redistricted. And so he will be working with us through the GIS technology that he has to ensure that all voters are placed in the correct place. The state's deadline on the redistricting project is February the 9th. So as you can see, we've got to work really, really quick. This concludes my report. Unless you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
So just a quick comment. I note that we're about 40 days out from actually voting. And once again, Jarvis and the state have left us in a position where there's no room for error. Many of these problems have been well known to the state for a long time, and they leave us to the last second to be able to try to make this election work, as well as I know your staff will. But this is not the way to run a railroad, and the state should be ashamed of themselves, especially the Secretary of State's office.
And we will keep you posted as we work through the redistricting project and as it goes live. Once we've completed the project, if we see anything, this project will, and I meant to mention earlier, even though it came at a very challenging time as we're entering an election and we have a lot to do in a very short period of time, it's going to allow us, since all of the updates which have taken place in Jarvis, it will allow us the opportunity to look at our voters to make sure they are where they're supposed to be. For that part, I'm grateful, but we will keep you posted if we see any problems with that. Okay.
Kim, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
All right. On to old business. We've just got update on election supervisor salary. I think, Roy, you got.
So last night I came, as I was directed by the board, I came before the Board of Commissioners and was able to have a conversation with the commissioners. They agreed that the Board of Elections, in fact, controls its budget. And please, Stephanie, if I misstate something here, please correct me. But that the Board of Elections controls its budget within an appropriated amount. And so we will come during the process of budgeting for 2024-2025 season, and we will put our budget request in, and the Board of Commissioners will either approve or make adjustments or whatever they need to do
For fiscal year.
for fiscal 2024-2025.
Fiscal
And-
year 25.
It's fiscal year 2025. I'm looking at school years. Sorry. But within that appropriated budget, the Board of Elections and Registrations has the authority to move things around as we need to do that, And that's the specific reason that I was directed to go before the board was to move $8,000. It may not appropriately be from the insurance fund, it may be from other places within the budget, but to move that into paying allowances, and that money will go into bringing the supervisor's salary in as a bonus in line with other department heads.
Okay. So you're coming back to us with, hey, we can, or.
The
we can
Board
do
of
that.
Commissioners told me they would have that work completed by the 22nd, at which point they should move the funds. If it's not out of the insurance fund, it'll be out of another appropriate line item back into paying allowances.
And that will be the county manager directing the finance director to make that move, not the Board of Commissioners themselves. They
Thank you.
just- The Board of Commissioners basically said it's within your budget, you have the authority to do it.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So no further action needed from this board.
That's correct, you've already voted to approve it.
Got it. So it's already approved, and so we and since we can't take it from here to there on budget lines, once the budget's approved?
No, you
I'm
can't do
I'm confused by
Yeah, so you
by
can't
them saying we
do,
control the budget,
you
but.
can't do anything within your own budget to make those changes. The finance director will, at the end of the fiscal year, have pages of budget amendments that
Okay.
will bring all the departments' budgets in line, and this will be included with that.
Okay, so from an administrative standpoint, inside the county,
They've,
the finance
it-
director will
it's
do
been
that as
directed to
amended?
do,
Okay.
yes.
All right,
So can I get clarity, so will Kim get her bonus this fiscal year or next?
This fiscal year.
this fiscal year. That is my understanding. As far as when, I would. I don't
That
know.
was the 22nd date was when, I think that was the general
Okay.
understanding. There were several dates that were kind of bandied about, but
Yeah,
that was the date that we
I
were
was a little
with
confused by
Yeah.
that part, so, okay.
The
So-
22nd of this month?
this month.
Right. So, thank you, Roy, for doing that.
Yes.
You're very, very helpful. And I know that was, a whole bunch of fun for you, so.
It got accomplished. That's all that matters.
Yes, sir. Anybody have any further on that? Okay, good. All right, next up, new business. We've got the approval of the Board of Elections and voter registration meeting calendar for 2024. Just, yep, it's behind the. After Kim's report, after the resolution, after the notice, I think. Nope.
Ah.
Before. I know, I just saw it.
Here.
No,
Behind the consolidation.
thank you, Dexter.
Just want to, we're looking at the meeting calendar right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's what I thought. Just want to make a comment on this.
Please.
If you notice there, the different dates are because we moved, because we have to certify on within a certain period of time. So what we do instead of, because the election actually fell, our regular meeting actually fell, for instance, for March on election day. So anyway, just note the election certification, 10 a.m., that's why that date is moved, is in order that we can certify the election at that time.
All right, so like in the past couple of years, if it's fell on election day, we
Right.
just moved the meeting to the next week and done the certification earlier that day, right?
They're
That's
just
which
more
is,
next.
right, they're just more extra.
They're just more this year because of the 2024. And we don't know, December, we can't promise that there's going to be a runoff, but we have to plan for it.
Okay.
So,
That makes sense to me from a logistical standpoint.
And to adopt the 2024 meeting calendar as presented.
All right. Motion to.
I second.
Approve, okay. James seconds. All in favor? All right. Thank you, Kim, for putting that together and doing the math on the dates for us. Makes it easy. Okay, next up, we have the adoption for our annual resolution for delegation of authority. This will cover us from January to December 31st, so it's the resolution, title resolution. I guess, so 769 basically has all powers held by the board and except those delegated to the supervisor. And we had talked at length, we originally had just delegated basically budgeting authority to the supervisor. Over the past, I guess, year or so, we came up with the list as part of the writing of the bylaws to kind of enumerate those into one singular resolution that we need to pass every year and reapprove, and it's that time. So, powers 1 through 7. Believe we've already reviewed all these, talked about them, and already passed this once with
The
one
only,
change, right?
yeah, the only change from the 2023 delegation of authority is to increase that procurement of purchasing of equipment and supplies amount from 500 to 3,000 per your
What we've
approval
already,
previously.
so we're basically just updating the resolution that was already passed to reflect the changes to the procurement and purchasing policy that we've already also passed.
And this will take him through January of 2025.
Okay? Right, okay.
A question I have, and I admit that I'm probably 6 to 9 months away from the bylaws. Does the bylaws need to be amended? In other words,
We're doing this because the bylaws are in line with 769.
Right.
And these are the powers that 769 requires you to have as a board. And you're just delegating that authority to Kim. So we have to leave the bylaws as they are because they're in line with 769.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I guess to take that a little further is, these are things that we don't have to change the bylaws to take back or to modify, right? So, there's more flexibility here to give more power or rein it back, and retain powers of board, so.
So can we state this as we approve the 2024 delegation of authority to the supervisor?
You
Or
can
do we have
say-
to be
you
more
can-
precise?
No, you
You
can just
just
read
say-
the title of the resolution.
Yeah, move to,
Where's that at?
move to adopt the resolution.
Okay.
Top line.
I move to adopt the resolution for delegation of authority to election supervisor for Spalding County by the Spalding County Board of Elections and Voter Registration for calendar year 2024.
All right, do we have a second? Dexter seconds. Do we have any further discussion? We've already had the discussion, I guess. All in favor? 5-0, carries. Next up, election of officers. We've got chairman, vice chair, and secretary to elect. I guess we can do them in that order, Roy?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that you be nominated to run for chair for 2024.
Okay.
A second.
So we got a second. Do we have any further nominations? Dexter?
I nominate Mr. Newland.
Newland? Do we have a second on James? Jim, so we have a second on James. Do we have any further nominations before? Once, okay.
Mr. Chair, if I might just clarify that House Bill 769 makes the chair a 2-year elected position. It also requires that election in odd-numbered years. We began in an even-numbered year, so we've gone for 2 years, but we're not in the odd-numbered year. So my proposal to you would be that this would be for a 1-year term, and next year we would get back on the odd-numbered years for 2 years for the chair, if that's acceptable to the board.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's basically, it says it's basically expires in odd number of years, right?
No, it says we're supposed to elect.
Okay.
Yeah, the first to receive the 3 votes would be elected the chair.
The first two, what?
The first,
Oh, the first two, okay.
TO, not.
All right, I was like, okay.
Not TW.
Co-chairs, okay. All right, so, I guess we can discuss term after we have the election. I don't think there's any issue there in terms of, or any choice there in terms of how often we have to elect or not. So we've got 2 candidates. Any further nominations? Somebody want to move to close the
Move
floor?
to close nominations.
Close, okay. All right, all in favor to close nominations? 5-0. Nominations for chair are closed. So we have 2 candidates, myself and James. All in favor for Ben for chair, one more term? 3-0, or 3 votes. All in favor for James Neal? 2.
Thank you, fellas.
All right, I feel like I put a noose around my neck and gave the rope to somebody. So, thank y'all. I appreciate everybody's patience over the past few months, and hopefully, hopefully, I'm going to be healthier this year, and we'll not have as much travel. Appreciate it.
So for vice chair, I would nominate James be vice chair.
Okay, I would second that. Do we have any further nominations for vice chair? All right, no further nominations, one candidate
By acclamation.
by acclamation. James, welcome aboard again.
Just be here all you can.
Well, I hear you do a really good job when I'm not here, so,
Yes, but I don't enjoy it.
well, you know, my mom told me that, you build character by doing things that you don't like doing.
That's exactly true. That's exactly
Um,
right.
Every time that she would tell me to do something I didn't want to do, so, which was a lot. Next up, election of secretary.
I nominate Roy McLean for secretary.
All right, I will second that one. Do we have any further nominations? All right, hearing none, Roy McLean is elected secretary by acclamation. Thank you guys for your service, and, Dexter specifically today, welcome back aboard, and, to continue, and we appreciate your service. We appreciate yours too, so, both the gyms. Say gyms for now. All right, that concludes new business. Next up, board member comments. We'll start on the far end as usual.
Just start off this year with a lot of great things in front of us. It's going to be a really busy year. I want to thank the staff for stepping up, and we've all been sick this year. We've all had issues this year. So without a really highly qualified and trained staff and a really dedicated staff, we would not be in as good a position as we're in. And so I really appreciate all of y'all, everything that y'all do, and especially the things behind the scenes that we don't see. You know, you just go do the right thing whenever it's the right time to do it. And so thank you so much for that. And with that, I'm done.
First, I'd like to say, I'm glad to be on board for another 4 years. It has been a very enjoyable experience. I want to commend the staff. I want to commend Kim especially for the work she's done. And I'm glad you were able to get somewhat of the compensation that you deserve. And I'm sure the board agrees that we will continue to work to make sure that your office salary is in par with other jurisdictions, comparable jurisdictions. I want to say, and Ben, don't take offense that I nominated Jim. It's just that, you know, we have to hold ourselves accountable, and we have bylaws, and the bylaws clearly state how many times that we can miss a meeting. And the reality of it is that, you know, we all have lives, and when there's a situation where you're having to miss those many meetings, we know there's something going on in your life. And so, you know, I just didn't want to put that pressure on you. As someone who's served on many boards, I know how time consuming that can be. And so I just wanted you to understand that that's why I was looking to take that burden off of you. Because whatever's going on, we fully support you. I'm going to pray for you. I'm sure everybody else here will pray for you. I'm pleased to say within 2 years, I think the board has moved to a different place, just in terms of how we cooperate, how we express things to each other. And I personally want to say thanks to Jim and Jim for being there this morning at my swearing in, and Kim. I think that really does say a lot for this board. That we can move to a place where we're not at each other's throats, you know, the last 3 or 4 years. I think it takes us to a place where I spoke about before, You know, we're all here for one thing, and that is to see that people have the ability to cast their ballot and have their ballot counted. And it's good to see us move to that place, and set a tone that is not necessarily across the country. And I just say that what I saw this morning made me proud. Even Elbert said, "What's going on?" And so for Elbert to say that, you know, it's clear that we're moving towards a direction where there's a board that believes in working together and making sure that we serve the citizens of Spalding County the right way.
Thank you, Dexter.
If I
Is
may,
there
I'd
one?
like to go back a month. I missed the December meeting, election board meeting, because I was soaking up the sun in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
For 17 days.
Yes, but what I want to say is I was so proud of the effort that Kim Slaughter put forth and the staff for the manual recount. That was a short period of time. It was put together well, without any criticism whatsoever. So hats off to you. Great service. Let's do it again in the upcoming year. I mean, work together.
My turn.
Jim number 2.
Well, Dexter, thank you. Thank you for taking another 4 years, because I appreciate you being on this board.
Thank you.
And I agree with you that if the whole country worked together like this board does, we'd be in a different situation. So I'm very glad you're here. Ben, thank you for being back. It's good to see you.
Happy to be here.
Okay. And Kim, I sat there with you guys through that whole recount.
Yes, you did. You did.
You worked hard.
We all
You guys
did.
worked hard.
Yes, we did.
I know it for a fact. And thank you for your efforts. And I think they were well rewarded, and I think that we accomplished what we wanted to, because all we wanted to know is what was going on. And we found out. We also found out how to do it.
Yes, we did, very
The
quickly.
way to learn something is to beat yourself over the head with it, and we did. But we did it on a small election, thank goodness. So we learned a lot, and I think that Spalding County is a leader among counties in Georgia. I really do feel that.
I do too.
And I thank the entire staff for their efforts. And I'm very glad to be working with this board for another year. And thank you all for coming.
All right. How do I follow up all those just glowing bundles of praise and joy? I feel like I left the board a few months ago and took a little hiatus or whatever, and came back, and everybody's kumbaya, and we've been sitting by the fire here. But I appreciate it very, very much. Everybody's comments and anybody that's reached out to check on me, really appreciate it. Hopefully this year will be much improved, and I will have more time for my time management skills to be applied to. As soon as I figure out how to invent more time, I will let everybody here know. But
Won't happen.
yeah, it won't happen. I'll let Kim know actually first, or to clone myself.
I could really.
Oh, okay. You're second. No, but happy to be back. Happy to be. I'm flattered and honored to be reelected as chair, and will pledge to do my best to guide and direct and all the good things. And love the attitude, love what I'm hearing, and just have to remember this meeting for the whole year, all of y'all. So yeah, and Kim, glad we got something, like everybody said. Like, I mean, we realize how hard you work, and you know, are gonna fight to keep that going up, and
Thank
do
you
not
all.
want you to go anywhere at all.
I don't want
So-
to go.
No.
And can I have a comment?
Yes,
I know I'm
ma'am.
not a board
P-
member, but I want to
P-
comment.
P.S. Kim.
Excuse me. I do not take lightly what you, as a bipartisan board, did for me as election supervisor for Spalding County, and I truly mean that. I thank you. I know Roy was appointed to speak on behalf of the board, and I do thank Roy. That was a very hot seat to be in. I don't know if any watched, but I do appreciate those efforts there. And Unfortunately, there was some information shared that should not have been shared by a Board of Commissioners meeting, but I don't take lightly at all my duties here for Spalding County, and it is a pleasure. And when I say it's a pleasure to serve, it is a pleasure to serve, and it's a pleasure to serve along with each of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. All right. With that, I don't think I can add any more thanks or anything. What do we got?
Don't we have something else, Stephanie, to?
No,
Okay.
that's just for your information.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not, okay. All right, yep, so, a motion to adjourn would be in order. Everybody's fighting over it. Roy and then Jim won. All in favor? We stand adjourned. 6:47.
Until next time.
My wife's not gonna believe it.